If it feels like they're quietly pushing you out of your job, you're probably right. And in this video, I will show you exactly how the push out works, and more important, what to do about it. Most people believe that if a company wants you gone, that they'll fire you. And that is exactly backwards, because firing costs them money in the form of severance, unemployment claims, and bad headlines. Pushing you out costs them nothing. Roughly 3 out of 4 employees say they've been personally hit with these quiet push-out tactics. If that sounds like someone you know, that's because it probably is. And most of them never saw it clearly enough, soon enough, to do anything about it. I have over 20 years and more than 20,000 hours of corporate training. I've sat in on the management side of these conversations, and I know the playbook. I've also spent 25 years studying how human beings respond under pressure, and the ones who come through situations like this the strongest are almost never the ones who saw it coming first. They're the ones who responded with the most clarity once they noticed it. This is not a video about being paranoid at work. It's a video about seeing clearly and responding with strength instead of fear. If you appreciate me making this type of content, let me know by gently tapping that like button. Here we go. Point 1, build your exit runway before you need it. Update your resume now, not the week before you decide to leave. And when you update it, collect your actual proof of work, screenshots of finished projects, positive feedback from clients or customers, performance numbers, anything that shows the real impact that you had. And do this while you still have access, because the moment you leave a role, you often lose access to the very systems that prove what you accomplished there. And by then, it's too late to go back and get it. Start building a financial cushion if you do not already have one, because money in the bank is the single biggest thing that turns a frightening decision into a calm one. And this is one of the most important things I can tell you in today's market. It is always better to prepare before the crisis than it is in the middle of the one, because if it happens in the middle of the crisis, you will be shut out of everything that you need. Now, none of this means that you are planning to leave. It means that you are no longer trapped. And staying because you choose to is very different than staying because you feel like you no longer have an option. Point 2, understand the real game being played. It's not that companies do not want to let people go. It's that making you want to leave on your own is cheaper and safer for them than firing you outright. I've seen this pattern most clearly when new leadership walks into an existing team. It could be a new store, a new manager, or a new department. It doesn't matter. The pattern repeats itself. Everyone who is already there feels an automatic wave of fear, because most people have been conditioned to expect that the new leader is going to bring their own people in and quietly clear out the old ones. Here is the principle that fear itself is often the first move in the push out, whether the new leader consciously intends to do it or not, because uncertainty is exactly what makes good people start second guessing their place and eventually decide to leave on their own. Here is the pivot. Notice the moment that the fear shows up and overcorrect and regulate yourself positive, because how you respond in the following weeks matters more than almost anything that happens after that. Point 3, know the legal wrinkle that almost nobody explains. There's a very real legal concept called constructive discharge, which means that if a workplace becomes so intolerable that a reasonable person would feel forced to resign, the law can treat that resignation as if you were actually fired. Now, I'm not an attorney, and this is not legal advice, but understanding this concept changes how you experience the situation, because it means that you are not powerless just because nobody said the word fired out loud. The catch is the burden of the proof sits entirely on you, not the company. You have to show a pattern, not one bad week, and you have to show that you raised a concern and that nothing changed. Courts generally look at what a reasonable person would have done in the same seat, which sounds simple, but rarely feels simple when you're the one that's living through it in the moment. You're often second guessing whether you're overreacting or seeing things clearly the first time. The single fact that the burden on you is exactly why the next few points matter so much. Point 4, become the most emotionally regulated person in the room. I have watched this exact scenario play out again and again. A new leader takes over an existing team, and everyone who is already there is afraid of being replaced by the people that the new leader already trusts. That moment is a test, and how you handle it either builds trust or destroys it. If you let that fear run you, You become reactive, defensive, and insecure in front of the same person who you need to build that trust with. It can damage their perspective of you. The capability that matters the most here is emotional regulation, staying calm, staying curious, staying grounded when you are being watched and evaluated, because you are being watched and evaluated whether anyone admits it or not. Now here's the pivot. Do not try and convince the new leader you belong there with words. Show them with consistency. Show up prepared. Follow through with the small things without being asked. And let that steady pattern build trust one day at a time, because the new leader remembers who made the transition easier and the ones who made it harder. Point 5. Document with balance, not bias. If any of the last 3 points are resonating with your own situation, resist the urge to only write down what feels wrong. Here is something that most people miss entirely. When you only document the problems, you train your own attention span to go hunting for problems. And that shift changes your energy in the room, whether you realize it or not. People can feel a person who's quietly building a case against them. And that vibe alone can accelerate the very outcome you're trying to protect yourself from. What I recommend instead is a single running thread. I personally use a tool like Chat or Claude for this, where you log your wins and your losses side by side, along with anything else that felt off. They all have a timestamp. Now here's the pivot. If anything does happen to you, you have the whole thread for yourself, or you can hand it to an attorney and pull out exactly what is relevant with clear timestamps. But in the meantime, you're not carrying a folder of grievances around in your head. You are simply keeping an honest, complete record. Point 6. Use the resources that they hope that you will never discover. If your company offers an employee assistance program, check whether it includes legal consultation benefits. Many do, and most employees have no idea. Because it runs through a third party, conversations with that attorney are often privileged, meaning your employer does not see it and does not know that you used it. The single benefit can give you a real professional opinion on your specific situation, often at no cost to you, instead of sitting alone at 2 a.m. trying to figure it out by yourself. Most people never call because they assume that somehow that call will get back to their employer, and it will not. That is the entire point of the privilege. So check your benefit package this week, not someday. Point 7. Know exactly when it's time to walk. Watch for 4 signs together, not just one. You are mentally and emotionally drained more days than not. Your values and the values of the company have quietly drifted apart. You raise concerns and nothing ever changes. You've stopped growing, you've stopped learning, stopped being trusted with anything new. Any one of these alone might be a tough week. All 4 together is information. Everything is your teacher, including times like this one. And the lesson it is offering you is not that you have failed, that you have outgrown an environment that no longer meets you where you have grown to. Turn pressure into power here. Do not wait for someone to say the word out loud. Decide on your own terms from clarity, not fear. The action step for today is this. Pick one point from the video, just one. Take a single concrete action on it before the week is out. Maybe that is opening your resume for the first time in years. Maybe it's checking whether your benefit package includes legal consultation. Maybe it's simply deciding to breathe through the next uncomfortable meeting instead of reacting to it. Small, deliberate action beats anxious waiting every single time. So if you watch this and believe that you might be quietly getting pushed out right now, but you're not even sure what unwritten rules you broke, watch the video I made right here on the office politics rulebook that nobody actually gives you. If you appreciate this video, let me know by gently tapping that like button and subscribe so that we can keep growing together. We are not here to avoid pressure. We are here to embrace it. We are building strength, and we are turning snowflakes into diamonds.